Hi friends, welcome to Bodhi's online class. We know you are stay at your home, but it should be of safety. So stay home, stay safe. Anyway, let's start our English literature classes. Okay, I think you are ready for your English literature classes. Am I correct? Yes, I know. You studied a lot of poems, stories, short stories, science fiction, and features, anecdotes, a lot of literary works. So, you are not familiar with the English literature pieces of works. So, in the 10th level, you have to learn more progressive type or more progressive level. Okay. Here we have to study about a unit. We have to learn about a new unit, that is glimpses of green. What is glimpses of green? Yes, glimpses of green. Listen, glimpses of green. Glimpses of green. You have thought a lot of ideas about this title, glimpses of green. When the word green hurts, we have think about our nature. Am I correct? Yes. We have thought about the green word, that is our nature, the river, the butterflies, the trees, the forest, and all living and non-living things are covered by the divinity of in our world. That is green. The glimpses of green, the shining of green, that is the mystery of the beauty of nature. That is the idea, that is the content of first unit, glimpses of green. Here we have to learn about three categories. First of all, Ruskin Bond's Adventures of Banyan Tree, then Vaikom Muhammad Bashir's The Snake and the Mirror, then lines written in early morning. Okay, lines written in early morning. Okay, here we have to learn about three categories. First of all, The Adventures of in Banyan Tree by Ruskin Bond, The Snake and the Mirror by William Shakespeare, and it was a translation by V. Abdullah. The third one is a poem. The title is The Lines Written in Early Spring by William Wordsworth, the pioneer of romantic era, William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Here we have to learn about a poem by William Wordsworth, that is The Lines Written in Early Spring. Here we have to learn three categories. Okay, Adventures in a Banyan Tree, written by Ruskin Bond. You know about the Ruskin Bond? Are you familiar with these words? Yes. Ruskin Bond is related with Mahatma Gandhi. Do you know? The two books are very influenced Mahatma Gandhi. First one is Bhagavad Gita. Second one is Ruskin Bond's. Which one is the book? Which book? Do you know? Yes, that book is Ruskin Bond's Unto This Last. Yes, that's correct. Here, the Ruskin Bond's Adventures in a Banyan Tree are have been learned by them. The Ruskin Bond are the Indian native man. He was born in Mumbai, and he spent some time in India, and after all, at last time he spent in India, and he wrote a lot of Indian English writings. Like that, we have to learn about Adventures in a Banyan Tree. So, please go through the Ruskin Bond profile. Please go through the Ruskin Bond profile. Please listen the profile. Ruskin Bond, born on 19th May 1934, is an Indian author of British descent. His father was an officer at the Royal Air Force. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof. His first novel is The Room on the Roof. At age of 17, in your age time, he wrote a novel, that is A Room on the Roof. It got a John Llewellyn Rice Prize in 1957. In 1957, he got a prize. His first children's book is The Angry River. He wrote a lot of books for children. He has a child authoritarian or child promoter writer. In 1992, he received the Sahitya Academy Award for his short story collection Our Trees Still Grow in Dara. Okay. He was awarded in Padma Shri in 1999 for his contributions to children's literature. He got the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2017. He now lives with his adopted family in Lanto near Missouri. Okay, that is Ruskin Bond. So we have to go through the adventures in a banyan tree. Okay, adventures in a banyan tree. What is banyan tree? Yes, banyan, mother tongue, almaram. Okay, here is a quote that is, nature is not a place to visit, it's home. What's the point? Nature is not a place to visit. Nature is not a place to visit. It is home. Nature is not a place to visit, to find out our pleasure, to find out our any type of enjoyment. It is home. We have to learn, we have to observe, we have to identify more and more emotions and feelings in there. So nature is our home. Here a boy, he felt his nature, his surrounding as a home. That is the central theme of adventures in a banyan tree. Here we know nature is for all living beings. Okay, all living beings. Like Muhammad Bashir's words, അദ്ദേഹത്തിന്റെ ഭാഷയിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഭൂമിയിൽ എല്ലാവർക്കും അവരുടെ അവകാശികൾ, ഭൂമിയുടെ അവകാശികളാണ് എല്ലാവരും അല്ലേ. പഴുതാരയും പാമ്പും പൂച്ചയും ഉറുമ്പും എല്ലാവരും അടങ്ങുന്ന ഭൂമിയുടെ അവകാശികളാണ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പോലെ നേച്ചർ ഈസ് ഫോർ ഓൾ ലിവിങ് ബീങ്സ്, എല്ലാവർക്കും വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. Man should live in harmony with nature. That is, we are not the bourgeois, we are not the aristocrats in our nature. We are not the lords. We are not the lord in our nature. We have to live in harmony with others. മറ്റുള്ള സഹജീവികളോടൊപ്പം ഇടപഴകി വളരെ സമുദ്രന അവസ്ഥയിൽ ജീവിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു ജീവവർഗം മാത്രമാണ് ആര്? മനുഷ്യൻ. Being one with the nature is always mesmerizing. Have you ever got a chance to spend your leisure time with the nature? Have you ever spent your leisure time with the nature? Here a boy spend his leisure time with the nature, and he has a lot of friends with this nature, and he has companion with a special type of creatures. That are the central theme in our adventures in a banyan tree. What are the adventures in the banyan tree? So we have to start adventures in a banyan tree. You have to scroll the paragraph. Though the house and the grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain. Though the house and the grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine chiefly because grandfather, at the age of 65, could no longer climb it. Grandmother used to tease him about this, and would speak of a certain Countess of Desmond, an English woman who lived to age of 117, and would have lived longer if she had not fallen while climbing an apple tree. The spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved to the ground and took root again, forming a maze of arches, gave me endless pleasure. The tree was older than house, older than grandfather, as old as the town of Dara, nestling in a valley at the foot of Himalayas. Though the house and grounds for our home in India were grandfather's domain. Okay, though the house and grounds. Here, the narrator, that is the writer himself, he remembered about his childhood and he told, though the house and grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain, grandfather's land, grandfather's belongings. The magnificent old banyan tree was mine chiefly because grandfather. In India, we have some domain, some land, and there was a large banyan tree. Chiefly, it is to grandfathers. At the age of 65, my grandfather's age at 65, could no longer climb it, but he could not climb to this banyan tree. Grandmother used to tease him about this. Grandmother used to tease him. Listen. Used to tease him. Used to. Please listen about the used to. It is a modal auxiliary. It is a modal auxiliary verb to indicate past habitual action. Past habitual action. What is the usage of used to? Used to denotes to indicate a past habitual action. It is a modal auxiliary. Total 13 modal auxiliaries, and one of the auxiliary verbs are used to, and it indicates the usage of used to is past habitual action, to represent past habitual action. So here grandmother used to tease him. Tease means mock. Mother tongue kaliyakkuka. The grandmother used to tease him about this and would speak of certain Countess of Desmond. It's a mythical character, Countess of Desmond. Countess of Desmond. She has lived during the 15th or 16th century. It's a mythical character here. Grandmother used to tease him about this and would speak of certain Countess of Desmond, an English woman who lived to age of 117 and would have lived longer if she had not fallen while climbing an apple tree. Grandmother used to tease her husband, the narrator's grandfather. Grandfather could not climb the banyan tree at the age of 65. Am I correct? Yes, 65. So grandmother remember about a countess of Desmond, and she remembered about the story of Countess of Desmond and used to tease the grandfather. The Countess of Desmond lived at the age of 117, but she could not fall even an apple tree. If she would not live for a long time, കുറച്ച് നാൾ കൂടി ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ പോലും ഒരു ആപ്പിൾ മരത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ആര് വീഴില്ലായിരുന്നു? ആ കൗണ്ടസ് ഓഫ് ഡെസ്മോണ്ട് വീഴില്ലായിരുന്നു. എന്നിട്ട് 65 വയസ്സുള്ള നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വീഴാൻ എങ്ങനെ തോന്നുന്നു കിളവ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് കളിയാക്കുവാണ്. An English woman who lived to the age of 170 and would have lived longer if she had not fallen while climbing an apple tree. The spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved to the ground and took root again. Okay, do you know the picture of banyan tree? How it looks like, how it rooted in an area? Yes, very good. The spreading branches of banyan tree. The banyan tree has a lot of spreading branches. somewhere, anywhere, which curved to the ground. It curved to the ground. അല്ലേ, ആൽമരം കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ പിള്ളേർ? എങ്ങനെയാണ് താഴേക്ക് അതിന്റെ ശിഖരങ്ങൾ പൊട്ടി താഴേക്ക് പോകുന്നതാണ് ഗ്രൗണ്ടിലേക്ക്. Covered the ground and took root again, then root again, forming a maze of arches. A maze, complicated. Maze means complicated. Maze means complicated. A maze of arches gave me endless pleasure. It gave me. Here, who is me here? The narrator. Ruskin Bond. Maybe the Ruskin Bond. Yes, surely the Ruskin Bond. The Ruskin Bond told to the readers he was given endless pleasure. A lot of pleasure. Who gave the pleasure? The banyan tree. The widespread branched banyan tree gave the endless, the stopless, അല്ലേ, അവസാനമില്ലാത്ത ആനന്ദം നൽകുകയാണ്. Grandfather, as old as the town of Dehra, nestling in a valley at the foot of Himalayas. Okay, the domain, the land at the foot of Himalaya is a peak. It was the Dehra is the town Dehradun in Himachal, in state Himachal Pradesh. That is a nestling near the area of Dehradun. The Himalaya was an old peak. Here the narrator speaks about his grandfather as old as the mountain, so deep, so calm, so great, so powerful. Okay, my first friend and familiar was a small grey squirrel. Arching his back and sniffing into the air, he seemed at first to resent my invasion to his privacy. My first friend, okay, the narrator's first friend, very familiar, was a small grey squirrel. Who is squirrel? In mother tongue, Annan. ചാര നിറമുള്ള ഒരു അണ്ണാനായിരുന്നു നമ്മുടെ നരേറ്ററിന്റെ ആദ്യത്തെ കൂട്ടുകാരൻ. ഓക്കെ, ഡു യു നോ, according to me or according to you, we have to find out friendship with like us, like other girls or other boys or any other person, human beings. Here we have to find out the speciality. The narrator find out a friendship with a living being. That means he interacted with the nature and he tried to find the pleasure with the nature. Am I correct? Yes. My first friend and familiar was a small grey squirrel, arching his back. Arching means in a curved shape. Arching his back. വളഞ്ഞ മുതുകൊക്കെയുള്ള. And sniffing into the air. Sniffing means smelling into the air. വായുവിലൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ മണം പിടിച്ചു നടക്കുന്ന. He seemed at first to resent my invasion of his privacy. He seemed at first to resent my invasion of his privacy. He appeared at first to resent my invasion of his privacy. First of all, I thought the squirrel has thought about my invasion. Invasion means yes, enter without permission. That is invasion. കടന്നു ചെല്ലുക, കടന്നാക്രമിക്കുക എന്ന രീതിയിലേക്കാണ് പറയുന്നത്. But when he found that I did not arm myself with a catapult or air gun, he became friendlier. But when he found that the squirrel has understood that I did not arm myself. Here arm means a weapon. I am not weaponed but myself with a catapult. Catapult in mother tongue tetali or air gun or any air pistol. He became friendlier. That means I am not harmful to the squirrel. The narrator did not harmful to squirrel. They became very, very friendlier. Okay, and when I started leaving him pieces of cake and biscuits, he grew bolder and finally became familiar enough to take food from my hands. The narrator gave him some pieces of bread, cake, biscuit, and some types of foods. After all, he grew bolder and finally became familiar enough to take a food from my hand. At last, the narrator gave food in his hand, and the squirrel take the food in his hand. Okay. Yes. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was a very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. Before long, he was delving into my pockets. Delving means, what is delving? Before long, he was delving into my pockets. Delving means searching to find out something. എന്തെങ്കിലും കണ്ടുപിടിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി തിരയുകയാണ് delving എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇവിടെ. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. Okay. ആദ്യമൊക്കെ കയ്യിൽ കൊണ്ട് കൊടുക്കുമായിരുന്നു, പിന്നീട് കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് വാങ്ങി ഏറ്റവും അവസാനം തൻ്റെ പോക്കറ്റിൽ തന്നെ ഇറങ്ങി തിരയാൻ തുടങ്ങി. തനിക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ആഹാരം എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് ലഭിക്കുമോ എന്നറിയാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് തിരയാൻ തുടങ്ങി. Before long, he was delving. He was searching to find any pieces of food into my pockets, into narrator's pockets, and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was a very young squirrel. And his friends and relatives probably thought him he was headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. Why his relatives and friends he was a fool? Because the young squirrel trusted a human being. That means the animal world, that is the common idea. The animal world the humans are harmful for themselves. അങ്ങനെയല്ലേ എപ്പോഴും അവർക്ക് ഇപ്പോൾ മൃഗങ്ങൾക്ക് ചിന്തിക്കാൻ കഴിവുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവരങ്ങനെ ചിന്തിക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. എന്താണ്? അവർക്ക് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ അപകടം ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് ആരാണ്? മനുഷ്യരാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് ചിന്തിക്കാനുള്ള ശേഷി ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ആ യങ് സ്ക്വിറലിൻ്റെ റിലേറ്റീവ്സും ഫ്രണ്ട്സും ഒക്കെ അവർ തോട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത് എന്തായിരിക്കും? ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു മഠയനായ അണ്ണാറക്കണ്ണൻ വേറെ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതുപോലൊരു അണ്ണാൻ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. കാര്യം എന്താ? എല്ലാവരും എതിർക്കുന്ന, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാവരും പേടിക്കുന്ന, എല്ലാവരും ഉപദ്രവിക്കുന്ന മനുഷ്യനെ അവൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? ട്രസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്ന കാര്യത്താലായിരിക്കാം എന്നാണ് നരേറ്റർ ഇവിടെ ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത്. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock in its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastures, and the parrots and the crows squabbling with each other all the time. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. In the spring, have you heard about the spring season? In mother tongue, വസന്തകാലം അല്ലേ? പൂക്കളൊക്കെ പൂത്ത് പഴങ്ങളൊക്കെ വരുന്ന സമയമാണ്. But in spring season, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, a small red colored fruit, birds all kinds would flock into its branches. Birds into flock. Listen. Flock. The collection of birds. A flock of birds. Okay, a flock of birds. കളക്റ്റീവ്, പക്ഷികളുടെ കളക്ഷനെ പറയുന്ന ഒരു കൂട്ടം പക്ഷികളെ, കൗണ്ടിൽ നമുക്ക് എണ്ണി തിട്ടപ്പെടുത്താൻ പറ്റാത്ത ഒരു കൂട്ടം പക്ഷികൾ വന്നാൽ എ ഫ്ലോക്ക് എന്നുകൊണ്ട് പറയാം. ഇവിടെ പറയുകയാണ്, in the spring season, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul പക്ഷികൾ, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastures, ചില പല ശബ്ദം ഉണ്ടാക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന റോസി പാസ്റ്ററുകൾ. പിന്നെയോ the parrots, the crows squabbling with each other all the time. They squabbling with they making clumsy noise with others. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. During the spring season, It was the noisiest place because all flock of birds are squabbling with each other. It was the most noisiest, most enjoyable place in this nation. Okay, what will happen after this banyan tree? What are the adventures? We have not understood about the adventures in this banyan tree. These are we have to understand about the next class. Okay, for please listen, study well, learn well, understand well, stay home, stay safe. Bye.